realize this is a bit late, but that almost hour-long Dragon Age video I did was a bit more grueling to make than I expected. First Mass Effect video. I'm not sure what I'll be doing about Mass Effect in terms of lore videos, but watching the teaser at the Game Awards aroused my interest in the franchise like I haven't been since Andromeda released. With that in mind, I wanted to take a look at what we learned from the teaser in terms of the next Mass Effect game, and follow that with my own theory about how they may handle the ending of Mass Effect 3. With the teaser showing characters that were in the Milky Way in Mass Effect, a lot of people are saying that this is going to ignore Mass Effect Andromeda, but the developers were particular about including both galaxies in this opening shot, so I don't think Andromeda will be left behind for long, if at all.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched.
The first thing we hear in this trailer is an excerpt from the radio broadcast of War of the Worlds, specifically saying humanity was being watched. Now, the radio broadcasts we hear in this trailer represent a progression of time for humans as a spacefaring species, so I'm not sure if this is just part of that, but reading into it, I might speculate that some force in the galaxy has been observing and hidden while the Reaper cycles went on. Maybe with them gone, that force has decided to emerge. Let's keep going.
Roger, copy. Eagle, Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
We hear an astronaut calling Houston, another step in humanity's journey as a spacefaring race. But more importantly, we have this very distinct shape here that I initially assumed must be some sort of star cluster that we may visit in the new game. I went through all the Milky Way star clusters in previous Mass Effect games, and I couldn't find one that looked like it, so I don't think I can offer any particular insight on that. Next we see this megastructure, a massive disk surrounding a sun, which is called an Alderson Disk. This might be the biggest object we've ever seen in Mass Effect, probably requiring more advanced technology and resources than we've previously seen in the Milky Way. Maybe this belongs to that race I mentioned earlier, a species previously hidden from the galaxy. Granted, something this big would be hard to hide from the Reapers. If this was built after the Reaper War, it's possible this is something the Geth have constructed to replace the partial Dyson sphere destroyed by the Quarians. It's possible if enough time has passed since the war.
Over.
Structure station. Unknown vessel approaching. We need first contact protocol.
Humanity now stands as partners in the galaxy.
Hot 6 is away. Godspeed.
Next we hear references to what sounds like the First Contact War and humanity joining the galactic community. We see a gas giant with 2 moons that I can't identify. Now what we hear there is interesting. Arc 6 is away. We had 4 arcs plus the Nexus in Mass Effect Andromeda, with the incoming Quarian arc being a 5th. We know absolutely nothing about this 6th arc. Its contents and passengers may end up being important, especially in terms of what may connect characters in the Milky Way to Andromeda. However, that we're hearing this now suggests that the arc has already left the Milky Way. There is a possibility that this numbering is counting the Nexus as one of the arcs, in which case then this is just the Quarian arc.
Engines are going crazy!
Is anyone receiving this? We've lost contact.
Now we enter a debris field. The audio indicates the Reaper War, and we see a disabled mass relay. This may be a hint toward what state the galaxy is in post-war. Most likely, some or all of the relays are disabled, greatly isolating and slowing travel across the galaxy. There's then a voice saying they lost contact, which could mean losing contact with the arcs of the Andromeda Initiative. We then see what I think looks like the Milky Way, then a pan down to an icy planet with 3 moons. Most people are guessing this is Alkera, the planet the Normandy crashed on at the start of Mass Effect 2, which is indeed an icy planet with 3 moons. A small ship descends to the surface, and we see a figure that turns out to be Liara climbing up a slope with what seems to be a disabled Reaper in the background. In fact, it sort of looks like what she's climbing could be a frosted-over disabled Reaper, but I can't really tell. That in itself could point to the state of the galaxy, being that the Reapers have been disabled. Again, I'll get to that speculation at the end. Liara picks up a fragment of an N7 helmet, which probably isn't Shepard's. I think it's mostly a signpost for the Mass Effect franchise generally, but it could mean our next protagonist is an N7. We then see Liara's face, and she does look a bit older. Some people I've seen claim she must be a matriarch now, but I don't think it's necessarily that drastic. This may be a consequence of having a much more detailed face model rather than intent to some degree. It does give us some time scale, but I'm guessing Liara could be anywhere from 200 to 600 years older than she was in the trilogy. In the background, we can see the ship that descended earlier, a human one judging by the lettering. We can also see what looks like the silhouettes of a Solarian, human, and a Krogan from left to right to me, potentially a new protagonist and squad mates. Now for the speculation. The dead Reapers and inactive mass relay tend to point to the destroy ending, which is arguably the most straightforward way to approach continuing after the end of Mass Effect 3. I think it's unavoidable that a canon ending must be chosen in order for the setting to be at all coherent after Mass Effect 3. Personally, I'm hoping for something a little more interesting. I would like to see a canon that incorporated aspects of all 3 non-refuse endings. Indulge me. Say at this point in time, at least a century if not several after Mass Effect 3, nobody really knows what happened after Shepard entered the beam. They just know that the Crucible started acting erratically and shot out a beam of light. The Crucible is a powerful piece of unknown technology. It behaved unexpectedly. So when it fired, all the Reapers, especially in the immediate vicinity of Earth, were destroyed or disabled. The mass relays were crippled, partially or fully. Some small percentage of the galactic population was infused with Reaper nanomachines and changed, possibly joined in some sort of hive mind. Being distrusted by others, this group could form a new faction in the galaxy. And maybe there are some surviving Reapers acting on some mysterious last command or desire from Shepard, imprinted when Shepard activated the Crucible. I think that gives us some fun building blocks for remaking the setting and letting us build off a canon world state that will make the galaxy more coherent. Maybe in 200 to 400 years, the synthesized banded together and helped the Geth build that Alderson Disk. Or the controlled Reapers did it. Or maybe another mysterious race is responsible. If the relays really are disabled as they seem to be, the pace of galactic recovery must have been very slow given the travel times. But if a few centuries have passed, some semblance of galactic civilization may have started to recover. How does any of this tie to Andromeda? I'm not sure. It seems like an extravagant use of resources for a galaxy still recovering from the Reaper War, but maybe Liara wants to re-establish contact with the Andromeda Initiative for some reason. Maybe Arc 6 doesn't make it across the void and has to be rescued with the faster ships of this new time. It's all just speculative at this point, but I'm intrigued. I honestly feel more interested in Mass Effect than I have in years after watching this teaser, and I'm very curious to see what they come up with. Just for fun, let's look at the new Mass Effect page from the 25-year BioWare book, which has a few bits of concept art. Not much to comment on because I have no context for what these are, except that I like the look of the scenes and that is the same ship in those right side images. That's all for now. See you next time.